All right, Mackenzie. Hey, how you doing?
Hey, I'm doing great.
Thanks for making the time today. It's so nice to be talking to you. I'm excited to dive in. Today we're going to be talking about your story, where Mackenzie Wells came from, the beginning of your creator journey, the beginning as a in the fitness space, the beginning of you going on social. So really excited to have you here. And why don't you start us off? Like where are you coming to us from? Where was the beginning of this amazing Mackenzie Wells story?
Oh gosh. Well, I live in Missouri. So Midwest girl. I've always lived in Missouri. Where does this whole story start? I mean, I don't know how far back do you want to go? Like I told you before on a call, I was a high school athlete. I played volleyball, ran track, went to college for volleyball and track, had kids young. That kind of threw a wrench in those plans. Um, Then I think after, when did I really start working out again? Like I hit that, every woman I think after they have kids hits this point where they're like, I want to get back in shape. I want to feel badass again. So I started taking fitness classes. This would have been like, gosh, Timber's 12. She's going to be 13 in December. So at least then, um, started taking fitness classes. I was taking like kickboxing. I did CrossFit. Me and a friend of mine, we did some yoga. And then one time, funny story, we were doing CrossFit in her garage. Like we took a CrossFit class and we're like, we can do this on our own. Let's just get some weights and some stuff and let's do it in your garage. And this guy showed up. He was renting a house from him. And he walks in and he's like, what are y'all doing? We're like, we're doing CrossFit. What's up? He was like, what are y'all like? You're trying to get back in shape. Like, what are you doing? What's your plan? And I'm like, we're trying to get back in shape. Two mothers, you know. And he's like, well, I'm the strength and conditioning coach here at the college. And he's like, y'all want to really work out? You know, like he's testing us. You know, he's like, y'all want to really work out? And we're like, yeah, we do. So he's like, I'll train you. So I promise this is going somewhere. So we go, we take a couple classes. I don't know if you call it that. He's training us essentially in the college's big weightlifting gym. And you know, we get to the end of this one workout and he's just laughing. And we're like, we probably sucked. Like we probably did half the stuff wrong. And I'm like, what's so funny? And he's like, what I just put you all through, we call the Punisher. And I'm like, what's that? And he's like when our athletes go out and get drunk or do something stupid, we put them through this workout, make them throw up, make them regret their decisions. And we're like, and he's like, and y'all did awesome. Anyways, at one point in all this working out stuff, he said to me, he's like, you're really good at like lifting and catching on. Like when I correct your form, you actually listen and you're very coachable. And he's like, I feel like you could be like a trainer or something like that. And I thought, well, what an interesting compliment. Didn't think anything of it. Went home, started thinking something of it. You know what I mean? I was like, why did he say that? Like, what do you mean I'm good at, how are you good at like just working out? You know what I mean? Or how, I just kept thinking about it. And then the more I thought about it, I'm like, I live in a small town. There's no gym. There's no fitness classes anywhere. Maybe I should pursue this. Like, what would that look like? There's no space that I know of. I certainly don't have space at my home to do anything like this. I don't even know what I would do. So I literally searched like how to become a certified personal trainer. Obviously, that's not that hard to do. But I went to the best of the best. I didn't want some cheap certification. Took the test, did all that, of course passed. Posted on Facebook, and I'm telling you, this was like 13 years ago. Posted on Facebook, and I was like, if I did fitness classes, would anyone join? Thinking like three of my friends will be like, sure, I'll come sweat with you. Oh my gosh, it just blew up. Absolutely. We've been waiting for something like this in this town. Oh my gosh, when are you starting? And I was like, oh, I got to find a location. Anyways, long story short, found a location, started teaching classes, started with, I was just like, you know what? I don't want to commit to anything long term. Here we are, 14 years later. I don't want to commit to anything long term. I'll just do like a 6 week boot camp. And I did Tuesday and Thursday nights and Saturday mornings in this hole in the wall junky building. It's on the square. It was an old Pizza Hut. I swear you could still see the grime from when like the table stopped and like like on the walls. Just a filthy little place. But boy, we just crammed in there together with some yoga mats and weights. We didn't care. And I did a 6-week boot camp that turned into teaching for 7 years. So the ladies didn't want to stop, and I kind of didn't either. I'm like, let's just keep going. Tuesdays and Thursdays, Saturday mornings, let's do this. So I think I did that 7 or 8 years. And then I started posting a little bit on Facebook and Instagram. And people would randomly message and just say stuff like, hey, how can I work out with you? And I'm like, well, if you happen to be in this town, you can come to my class Tuesday, Thursday nights. And they're like, no, I'm in.
My question. So you started building your social following a little bit. Like, how many followers do you have at this point?
Oh, heavens. Oh my gosh. 250? Like, probably half just weirdos following me just out of whatever. And the other half was my friends and family. Um, so, I got to scroll back and look at some of those pictures now. I probably just look so young and innocent, naive. But anyways, posting random pictures. Hey, I want to do your workouts. And I'm like, cool. Where do you live? Texas. And I'm like, oh, well, I don't have a way for you to do that. California, New York. I'm like, oh my gosh, you guys are all over the place. This is so random. Sorry, there's nothing I can do for you. So of course that started stirring. I'm like, how could I go online? How could I'm not super like techie. I don't know much about computers and videography and how do I record it? And then once I record it, what do I upload it to? Like, what the heck do? I don't want to waste money. I don't want to try to do something publicly and fail and, embarrass myself and spend a lot of money on camera equipment and all that crap. So basically I went to a guy, he's our camera guy at church. And I'm like, hey, I'm thinking about doing this online fitness thing. I don't even know what it's going to be or how it's going to work. I'm like, I need a camera. I need a way to deliver these workouts, blah, 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 blah. And so he's like, all right, buy this camera. You're obviously going to record your workouts or whatever. And then he kind of walked me through the process. And before Playbook came along, I had a website, private Facebook group, YouTube, which, don't get me started there, because I use music in the background of my workouts. It's just not me huffing and puffing and knees crackling on camera. It's some music to drown out, all that. And so YouTube was such a pain in the butt. You have to use, I would joke with people. I'm like, I'm basically stuck to hip hop elevator music, the same uncopyrighted stuff. And so between the website and the private Facebook group and using YouTube to deliver the videos, I did it for years and it worked. Like, I think when I first launched online, I had this goal. I launched on March 1st, 2020. So right before COVID hit, had no idea COVID was coming. I joke with people, they're like, oh my gosh, so you went online because of COVID. And I'm like, no. I went online, had no idea COVID was coming. If I did know, I would have invested in hand sanitizer and face mask or something like that. But no, I had no idea COVID was coming. Launched, and I had this goal. I'm like, I want 50 people to sign up by the end of March. That was my big goal. Basically, I came up with that goal because I was like, I have about 25 ladies that took my class, my in-person classes consistently. And I thought, I know all they will. And then if just each one of them brought a friend, I'm like, I bet I get 50 people by the end of March to sign up for this online thing that I'm literally throwing together and hoping it works. And I think 80 people signed up in the first week and then another 50 the second week. And it just kept going. And then by the time you guys came along, I was banging my head against a wall, obviously, because the bigger you get when you're sitting here playing with a website, YouTube, private Facebook group, when people cancel, you got to remember to remove them from the Facebook group. And stuff was all over the place. And I needed a streamlined process. And you guys came along, shot me a message. Of course, I looked into what Playbook was. And I'm like, I think this is it. I mean, obviously, I looked into a lot of other apps. I was on Zoom call after Zoom call, hearing, promises after promises. This is how well we function. This is how well we work. And I was just like, and I think I told you guys, I'm like, there's a lot of really good apps out there, but your guys' app is probably the best. And also, you guys are the best. Like, I can sniff out a,
You don't need to plug us.
no, I'm not. I'm just being honest. But like, I can sniff out a good person, I feel like. And when I was on calls with you guys, I'm like, these are my people. But anyways, and then the rest after that. Once I went on Playbook and I started consistently posting on social media, that was my downfall for a long time, is convincing myself you need to post on social media, because I talked myself out of it for so long. What do I post? Nobody's going to follow me. I'm literally a nobody from Missouri. I'm not even from somewhere cool. I'm not even from, LA or New York or something fun and hip. I'm from the Midwest, from a very small town. At this time, this is when I went online, I was 35. I'm like, God, that's old in the fitness industry. Like, what am I thinking? But I started posting consistently, got on some calls with you guys, and you're like, of course, Mackenzie, post consistently. And it just took off from there.
Yeah, that's so. There's so many things to unpack there, but I always loved about you is just how you're so entrepreneurial. Even the thing of you going up, being like, all right, I got to figure out how to film a camera or get the camera, and then I went up to this guy in church, and it says so much about you, and I love that about you. And yeah, there's so many things to unpack there, but I think that one of the lessons I want to highlight is you are super entrepreneurial. So I love how you ended that last bit where you talked about your limiting beliefs, and I want to come back to that because that's such a big thing for so many folks. But for anyone who'd be listening to this, Mackenzie is one of the best. You have one of the best content setups where like you produce more content than almost anyone I know. And then what's great to hear is, especially workout content for the platform, you had no idea what you were doing. So I appreciate that part of you where a lot of people do get stuck in their way where you're like, I'm going to go do it. First version's not going to be perfect. I'm going to get better and better. And, that has played out so well for Mackenzie is how entrepreneurial you are. And you're kind of partially you're like shoot first, ask questions later. And then part is just it's the confidence and trust in yourself that you're going to keep getting better. And I'd say, I don't know if you want to jump in there, but you're from any female or any man or woman, but especially female who wants to become an entrepreneur, I think you have some sort of DNA or drive in you where you're like, you figure things out and you sell, which is super endearing. But yeah, how do you, I guess just thinking about you, do you know you kind of have an entrepreneurial bug inside of you? You're just like, I'm going to figure things out. Did you get that from someone in the family? Where do you think that comes from?
I don't know. I would have never thought of myself like that. Like even now, now I do, but like even 5 years ago, I wouldn't have thought of myself like that. But the funny thing is, hold on, I got to shut something off. Something popped up on us. Funny thing is when like I talked to my dad about my business. I talk to my dad about everything I do because see, he is such a cheerleader. He just goes nuts for everything that I do. When I, tell him about my fitness business, he just, oh my gosh, I'm not surprised. It's just, you've been like this your whole life. That's what I'm getting at. And I'm like, I have? And then he always reminds me of stuff. Like when I launched my Mindset Mastermind, I told him all about it. Told him how it was going, what kind of things we were talking about. And he was like, you've always had such a way with words. You've always thought like that. And I'm like, what? I don't think I've always thought like that. I think I've only developed this in like the last few years. But tell me why you think that. Tell me, Dad, where you're. And he's like, do you remember when you would go to the, do you know those Scholastic book fairs where they come to the school and they open those big things and they're full of books, I wanted to buy the empty books. So that's all I wanted was the It was a clear, there's nothing on it. All the pages were empty. It was for you to write your own book. That's all I ever wanted to buy. So I would ask for money to go buy the empty, plain books, and then I would go write my own books. And he's like, don't you remember when you would write all those books? They always had like some kind of lesson in them. Like you always came up with this like issue that these friends were having or these animals were having, and there was always a lesson at the end, like some kind of like your mindset thing. And I'm like, I totally forgot about that. I forgot all about that. As far as like the being an entrepreneur, and I don't know where that comes from. I really don't. I think it comes from a little bit of like, I have a drive because, I mean, my dad was a farmer. My whole life growing up, my dad farmed. Nothing wrong with that. But like his dad was a farmer, and it was just kind of, you just kind of do what was handed down to you. My mom, bless her heart, I think she always had dreams. She never followed through on anything. She bounced around a lot. And I think at some point in my life, I just hit this spot where like nothing's being handed down to me. Nothing is going to land in my lap. If I don't make it myself, and then I suppose you can kind of look back and be like, well, I've been pretty good at making stuff. Like, even if it's just like, oh, going back to college after you had two small kids. Like when I went back to college, I was super driven because, you know, that's not the traditional time to go back to college and get your degrees when you have two little kids. But I was so driven. I'm like, I'm going to go back. I'm going to get my degrees. And not only that, but I'm going to make sure I carry at least a 4.0 when I go back. Like I'm not just going to go back. I'm going to carry at least a 4.0. And I did that. So I guess I just have a little bit of drive to prove someone wrong. Who's the someone? I don't know. Probably myself. So I think that just kind of comes from a combination of seeing what other people do and not wanting to do that. But then at the same time, seeing what other people have been capable of doing and admitting like they made that happen. You know, very few millionaires were actually handed down the millions. You know, most millionaires are self-made millionaires. So when you start seeing that as truth, you think, okay, well, if they can do it, why couldn't I? And so I just got a drive in these last few years. Like, I don't know how to explain it.
And you have a drive, and boy, do you have a drive.
That's true.
Uh, you get text messages from Mackenzie. I'm this and this and this and this, and but and then you execute on it. And you do it. And it's awesome. Yeah, you can tell how much your wheels are spinning to keep pushing and keep growing, and it's awesome. But and then we talked before, but you're somewhere along the lines too. So you have that part underneath you, but you also I think the ability part of your trajectory is like you created this great content experience. Is you're willing to, it kind of stems from your willingness to go up to the camera guy in church, and so you have that's sales chops really. And then you're telling me about your fireworks stand where you're like, hey, I'm going to start selling fireworks. So you developed definitely like a sales skill. I think that your ability to put yourself and teach group classes and so you definitely have a lot of aspects of your personality that are very entrepreneurial to kind of land you here today. But yeah. It's awesome. So we have you go through that journey. I think when I met you, you had just about 10,000 followers. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but
That's probably about right. I think so.
And then you're making about 10,000 followers, and then I remember your first tech experience was really interesting. And then I want to pick up where you were talking about those limiting beliefs, because everybody has them, no matter who you are, everybody has them. And if you were to, what do you think clicked for you going from you're growing like crazy right now? What do you think clicked for you, and where was it 10, 20,000, 30,000 followers in where you're like, all right, I kind of let's do mindset beginning. So mindset beginning, you said, you're kind of just like, I'm throwing content up, and for rhyme and reason, you didn't really want to stick to routine or commitment, but you had a business going. So what was your mindset then? And then where and when do you think something clicked for you? And like, what do you think that moment was where it clicked?
Man, that's hard to say. I would say that I slowly started building up when you're talking about limiting beliefs and like, how do you start mentally chipping away at those? I think you don't even realize you're doing it. For example, my first thought was, why would I ever go online? I'm going to waste money. No one's going to do this. They're going to think, what is she thinking? She's from blah, 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 blah. So my first like chipping away at that was, I think I can get 50 people to sign up in the first month. And then 80 did in the first week. So that helped chip away at it. And then I probably had another limiting belief like, yeah, well, they signed up out of curiosity. I bet they cancel. You know what I mean? And then month 2, they're all still there plus 100 more. So that's slowly chipping away at it. Posting on social media when I finally started doing that. Because I think essentially I was like, I don't even know what to post. I mean, post what? Post another picture of me standing there in a mirror like, look, I work out. I'm like, here's what I will do. Don't know anything about these stupid reels, how to put them together, what people like, who cares, whatever. Let's just try one. Here's what I'll do. I will take 6 exercises that I would put in a workout, and I will record them each for like, I don't know, 3 or 4 seconds. How long can I hold somebody's attention? Let's see. And then I'll just smush them together and I will throw it on with a, trending song in the background and be like, try this full body hit or something like that. And I think I posted thinking, well, this is stupid. And the dang thing, one of the first ones I posted got like 3 million views. And from that one reel, I think I gained 30,000 followers. I'm pretty sure that was December of 23, I think. And of course, when that happened, I was like, golly, you know what that means? That means I got to keep doing it. So that was a lesson for me because I had been told post, 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 post. And I was being stubborn. No, nobody's going to watch it. It's not going to do well. It's going to be embarrassing. It's going to flop. I'm going to look like an idiot. And then I'm like, fine, I'll post just to prove you that I'm right here. And then I posted, proved myself wrong, and I'm like, okay, fine. So that was like an overnight switch. I literally remember waking up the next day after I posted it. I posted it and then I was like watching it. I was like refreshing, watching it. And I'm like, all right, a couple thousand people, that's not too shabby. And I think I woke up in the morning and did like a refresh and I'm like, oh shit, this thing hit 1 million. I'm like, I don't even know how many 1 million people are. Can you imagine 1 million people standing out in the field? You can't. And I think my daughter came upstairs and she's like, Mom, you went viral. And I'm like, I freaking know what is happening. And then I saw my following go up. And then I remember telling my husband, I'm like, you know what this means? And he's like, you're going to have to start posting all the time. And so I have. And like right now, we post 3 times a day. And I will say, I have never purchased a follower. I have never done that. I get accused of that all the time. Absolutely never. My following is organic. It's 95% women. That tells you right there that is an organic following. They are following me for women's workouts. And I think my account's growing by 1,000 followers a day. So if someone out there is listening to this and they are being stubborn and thinking, I don't want to post, it's not going to be worth it, my first 5 didn't take off, that's always going to be the case. Like you can go to my account now and you can switch to the reels and you can scroll and you will see 1 million, 1 million, 1 million, but right in between all those millions, you're going to see 25,000 views, 50,000 views, 8,000 views. Like it's just part of the game. Those that are going to, I don't know what you want to call it, go viral, see the benefits of it, grow their following, whatever, are the ones that stay consistent. All there is to it is just a matter of time. It's like a promise from the universe. If you keep posting, it's coming.
Amen. That was a great bite right there. So what's your relation? How do you feel about with all this change and feeling like you're now on the hook to post more, and it's, well, why wouldn't you got all this great business result, and we'll talk about that too. But with, how do you feel about social media today? So your relationship in the past was like, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't really want to post that much. Like, I don't get this shit. Like, I don't want to do this.
Mm-hmm.
Is it healthier today? Is there a party that doesn't like it? Are you like, this is amazing and you're really excited for the day because your community is growing so much? Like, where's your mind today with how you feel about social media, how you feel about your obligations to your business? Like, what goes through your mind?
Yeah, a lot. It's definitely one of those love-hate things. Um, I think there is a downside to social media. I do think it can be toxic. I think it can keep you always feeling like you're not doing enough. Um, if I jump on, so I'm not going to come here and pretend I'm 100% confident and I have no issues, because that would be a lie. Um, there's times where I will scroll on social media and I will see someone doing something and it's doing well. And of course I'm thinking, well, why am I not doing that? It leaves you always feeling like you're just not doing quite enough. So I've tried, especially this year, to take a step back from consuming, because I'm still create. I'm always going to be a creator, but I've got to do less consuming. That, and it's just a time suck. But I love it for what it does for my business. I love it that it can connect me to people all over the world. I think it's so cool when I get messages like in my Instagram DMs, a lady taking a little post-workout selfie from Australia and I just got done doing your workout. I love your little accent. And I'm like, I have an accent. You have an accent. I'm normal. Yours is different. I just think that's so cool. Australia, India, from the UK, just everywhere. Like, without social media, that just would not be happening. Um, Always get a kick out of haters. That's always a fun thing. Sometimes they bother me. You read it and you're like, oh, okay, here we go. Like the whole crack the knuckles. Here we go. Because I like to put stupid people in their place. But typically when you waste time putting stupid people in your place, you look stupid too. So I don't respond to too many of them unless I see it as an educational opportunity. But I don't know. I love it for what it does for my business. I love it for the women that it's brought to me. Um, I try not to spend too much time on there because you can just get lost in that world. Um, I think it's pretty freaking cool that, it's one of the things in life that you can see in real time, paying you back for your efforts. Like, if I post once a day, I can expect this. If I post twice a day, I can expect this. If I post 3 times a day, I can expect this. Like, me and my videographer were talking a couple weeks ago, and I'm like, when you started, I just landed on post 3 times a day. I don't know where I came up with that. I just said, let's just post 3 times a day. That sounds like a lot. And we did that for 6 weeks and it did well. And I'm like, why don't we post 4 times a day? Like, I can't imagine it's going to hurt. Let's at least try. And so now we post 4 times a day and numbers are rising. So it's just, a lot of things you'll put a lot of effort into and you're like, God, I'm not seeing much from it. I do say that with the caveat that when you're first starting, don't expect a rise. I tell people that all the time. I tell this to my daughter Maddox. I said, when you start posting, you're not going to get support in the beginning. It's a weird thing that people do. It's a little psychological thing. 1, your friends will not support you in the beginning. This is going to sound bad. The answer is, then they're not really your friends. Because if you don't get support in the beginning, maybe you'll quit. That's what a lot of people think. Once you don't quit, even followers or even people that aren't following you yet, if they see you pop up once on social media, they might watch your reel. Yeah, whatever. Then they see you pop up again tomorrow. They might watch it again and be like, she ain't going anywhere. They see you the 3rd day. They're like, well, hell's bells. Give her a like. And they'll see you the fourth day. Wow, she's still doing this thing. I'm going to follow her because she's being consistent. I don't know. I'm just nosy at this point. Now you got to follow. That is how it happens. We all do it. I tell people all the time, we all do it. I'll scroll and I'll see some random person. I'm like, I don't know this guy. You'll see the follow button so you know you don't follow him. Like, I don't know him, but let me listen. Yeah, whatever. And then you see him the next day and you're like, there he is again. What's he talking about now? I promise you're going to see somebody 5, 10, maybe 15 times before you even like them. Before you literally like them, but before you even like them, that is just how this works. So when you first start, I would say, no, you're not going to see in real time payback, because there's always that window of time where people are going to be like, let's see if they show up again tomorrow. Let's see how serious they are about this. Until they can prove to me that they're serious about whatever they're saying on here, I'm not giving them a like or a follow. Like, they got to earn that from me. It's kind of the truth. So if you're going to launch a business, I also say this a lot. If you're going to launch a business or start talking about a product or whatever, don't even make your first post until you're willing to post consistently for the next 14 to 30 days. Like, don't even make the first post unless you know you're posting tomorrow and the next day as well. You lose credibility. You post one time and then you don't show up for a week. You're ghosting people. You got to show up again tomorrow and the next day. And that's when the payback will come. Just like I said, the universe, it's a promise. It's like, you keep showing up, I'm going to send you people, I promise. So.
Well, your next chapter is business coach. No doubt about it.
Yeah.
And you know that too, I'm sure. That was so good. Yeah, it's, when we say to creators, it's if you didn't have social media, it's like, how would you get a customer? And it's like, well, I get billboards and TV ads and direct mail, and it is a remarkable. Everything has its trade-offs, but it's a remarkable tool, and seeing the results it creates is amazing. And with that said, you've had quite the result. You're doing great business-wise. I won't share the numbers, but your business is doing really well. I'd be curious if, like, financially, the success of your business, not that you never thought you would be here, but did you ever think you would be here? Like, what are your thoughts on that?
What's so weird about, I always had this goal in mind, and I guess I won't say specifics or anything, but what's weird about me is, and maybe this is a negative thing, I don't know.
Whatever you want to share numbers, like, please do. It'll help everybody.
Well, I will say this so that nobody says, ooh, that sounds like an issue. It sounds like you're never going to find peace and contentment in your life. That's not it. I am weird in that, and you know this about me. That's probably why we work so well together. If I say, I want to get to 100 people, and I get to 100 people, I've never been the type to be like, whew, did it. Let's settle down. Nope. I'm like, oh, okay. Apparently that goal was too small because I hit it too fast. Let's get to 250. You get to 250. All right, now I remember doing this. I remember when I joined Playbook, I'm like, all right, we are streamlined, baby. It's go time. And I told myself, like, by the end, I can't remember exactly when all this happened, but I remember, like, I want to get to 2,000 members. I remember that number. And as soon as I hit that, I'm ready for the next 1,000. Like, that's just, I never settle. I never like, whoo, I can take a load off. I can kick my feet up. Never been like that. I'm like, okay, well, if you could figure out how to get to 2, you can figure out how to get to 3. And then if you can figure out how to get to 3, you can figure out how to get to 5. And then once you get to 5, you can surely get to 10. That whole, it's harder to make, or it's easier to make $1 million than it is to make your first 10,000 or 100,000. 100% true. Get all the yucky, streamlined, figuring it out, making all the mistakes out of the way. And then once you figure out how to make that $100,000, then it's like, okay, you 10x whatever it is that you were doing that worked. And that's essentially what we're doing now with my app. I never had money growing up, didn't come from money. I joke all the time. Like, I have to joke with my kids. It's not joking. It's half joking and half letting them know, like, they're very blessed. But, like, I say things like, I never went back to school shopping growing up. Like, that's a thing now, right? That's such a thing. It's like a staple in the culture now. I didn't go back to school shopping. Essentially, back to school shopping was me knocking on my sister's door and being like, Andrea, do you have any clothes that don't fit you anymore? And that's what I got. Um, but like, I didn't grow up with money. Even my dad, he was a farmer, he was a stubborn. We lived out in the country. We didn't get to play sports until we could drive ourselves to practice. He wasn't driving into town. I was so butthurt about that growing up. But now that I'm have kids and I'm driving them everywhere all the time, obviously they're my two older, not anymore, but there was a time where I was driving to practice. I'm like, golly, I know why dad said no. Like this is a pain in the butt. You're driving them everywhere. Um, but didn't ever have a lot of money at all growing up. Never had new vehicles, never lived in a house that we owned before growing up. Always were renting houses or whatever. And I did when I started seeing a little bit of success and realizing like, oh, the harder I work, the more money I make. Then I set a goal. I was like, I want to be a millionaire by 40. That was my goal. Not like I'm bringing in $1 million in that year type of a thing. Like, no, millions in the bank. Like I have millions of dollars at my disposal under my name, an actual millionaire. That was my big goal. Like, I don't why, I don't know, because it was something I could, see it and went after it. So that was kind of one of my goals. Made it happen. And so now it's funny because we all like to make money. Let's not do that whole holy like we don't care about money. I can't stand when people do that. We all like to make money. But the funny thing is, I'm learning that, yeah, money's cool. Yeah, stick it in my bank account. So I'm learning that I actually have a passion for helping people. Because when numbers come in, when money hits my bank account, like I'll glance at it, yeah, cool, whatever, but I got people to take care of. That's how my mind works. Yeah, cool, yeah, direct deposit. I have people to take care of. I have women to talk to. I have messages to answer. This girl's struggling with this. I've been there. I got to talk to her about that. That's why I launched the Mindset Mastermind, is because I love fitness. I love everything it can do for not just women, everyone. But I knew there was a lot of women out there that needed a little bit more information, a little bit more than the physical change. And so I launched my Mindset Mastermind because I'm like, they're still hurting, they are still struggling, they are still caught up on one thing or another. And I know if I can just spend time with them like this, that I can help them like break through some of those things, whether it's limiting beliefs or their self-sabotage that they keep, looping themselves back through, like just like a 30-day cycle. And so, yeah, I love making more money. I mean, it makes it to where I can do things that I've never thought I would be able to do. Vacationing is, I joke all the time. I'm like, I'm not super materialistic, but I sure love to vacation. I mean, we vacation probably 6 to 8 times a year. But it's these women. Like even if the money disappeared, even if for some reason that money quit hitting my bank account, I would be like, somebody figure that out. In the meantime, I got to talk to my ladies. You know what I mean? Like they're what matters the most.
And you can feel that all that was amazing. Again, I could take that in like 16 different directions. But you feel that last part. We work with a lot of creators, and without a doubt, the amount of love and attention that you give to your community is top. You're top. And it's, you kind of say that to people where it's like, hey, you have to build a community, and hey, you have to connect and cheer people on, ask questions and engage. But it is surface level for most folks, but you really spend time. And it is so cool to see how much that has paid off for you. And it's become a thing. So it's like, that is, if I was like on a panel, I'd be like, Mackenzie goes way out of her way to engage with people, to create content and to engage with people, way further beyond the average creator. And it's like, you hope that business success comes to those people. Especially from my seat, where you're like, oh, I have a software product, and then you're like, you have users who use it, and you see users who are giving more to it and giving more to the customers inside of it. You're like, God, I hope it works for them. So it's so cool to see everything play out for you. And the money part is, it's so cool. It's got to be really fulfilling to put as much effort and love into your community and everything, and then to get that check every month, and it's got to be such a and to come from, especially if you come from your beginnings, it's got to be a pretty amazing feeling. It's got to be pretty cool. And I'm sure the family appreciates it, and it's got all sorts of other benefits. And I'd say the other thing about you, this is, just more to you, which we talk about, is I'm like, holy shit, Mackenzie's just getting started too. It's like this type of content's coming, will come out and needs to come out more and more. And I'm like, God, where's she gonna go? Because it's, you have a flair to you that's unique, and I hope to God you don't stop. It's like, and not for any selfish reason, because you're partner in a lot of things, but like just your impact and I think your energy that you bring to people. I'm just like, God, I hope she keeps going.
Yeah. Oh, I will. There's no worry about that.
Yeah, it's awesome. So not to take up too much more of your time, there's so many gems in there. If you were to, I guess your daughters, or you have a creator that's coming in the door today, and you're coaching them, let's say, or you're giving them advice, what would you say to someone getting started on their journey? Maybe in terms of how you think about the product you deliver to people as a one point, and then how you think about how you market and where you would spend your time. If you have any pearls in there you want to share.
Gosh, if someone were to come to me, well, they do. I have this conversation a lot. I tell people all the time, whatever your story is, your story matters. If you wipe your story out, your personal story, then you are going to be just another fitness person. So if we're being specific to Playbook or having a fitness app or whatever, or just being a fitness coach of some sort, if you take your story out of the equation, then you are just another person selling workouts or meal plans or whatever. People discount their story all the time. Like, I could easily discount my story. I could say, oh, there's nothing cool about my story. I mean, I live in Missouri. I was born in Missouri. My parents divorced when I was young. My dad was a farmer. My mom did. Anyways, it's boring. Trust me. You're not going to be interested. But the other person's on the other end. No, keep talking, because like that speaks to me. If you have a story, if it's a fitness story, like I taught yoga and Pilates in a studio for 10 years and got really good at it, and kind of sounds like my story. And then one day I thought, man, could I do this online? Like, I think I could do this. I'm going to give it a go. Might fail, might not fail. Let's see what happens. People are drawn to that. So even when you're out there pumping out content, throw a little bit of your spin on it. Like, it's easy to go to Instagram and let's say I'm a yoga instructor and search yoga flow. I don't know. And then swipe over to the reels and see the top 6 yoga flow reels and copy them. Well, this one got 1 million. Maybe I'll just copy that. Word for word, move for move, look for look, angle for angle. Don't do that. You got to throw something in there that's you. Nothing wrong with finding a trending sound or seeing something that you're like, why did that go viral? I think it's because they started like this. Or do you think people are attracted to like the way that's angled and like the cool gym in the background or whatever? Sure, give that stuff a go. But like, if it's not speaking to how you teach or maybe a little bit about your personality, it's probably going to fall flat. I learned that the hard way. Of course, I've tried just like repeating content that's out there. Never does as well as when I like, this is what I remember. One time I was like not in a good mood. I knew I needed to record something, and you could literally go find this reel. I was barefoot. I was in the gym. I was having a little pity party that day for whatever reason. And I grabbed, my daughter Maddox was recording for me. And I remember I literally grabbed these set of 10-pound dumbbells. Um, and I'm like, here, I'll do some stupid workout with these light weights. Fine, workout for beginners. Here, just record me. I'm just going to throw a bunch of moves together. Here we go. That dang reel. I think it's got 3 million views. But like, I want to tell you something that I tell people that I didn't come up with this, even though I kind of teach these things too. But Alex Hormozy was on a podcast. I think it was a podcast. And the guy asked him, I think this was so cool. Because you think of somebody, if anybody doesn't know who he is, we'll just go look him up. Super successful. He's, probably failed at many things, and he admits that. That's why he's so successful. I'm sorry, you're not going to be very successful if you don't fail a few times. Failed at many things. Now he has a $1 billion company. Heck if I know, very worth a lot of money. Pushes out content like crazy. And he was on a podcast. And the guy said to him, he's like, Alex, if your social media was wiped clean right now, all of it was deleted. There's no evidence of any of your advice out there anymore. It's all completely what your books are gone, your YouTube's gone, everything's gone. And you had the next 60 seconds to tell people, to give people advice. What would you say? A guy whose mind is worth hundreds of millions of dollars, he's like, interesting. Okay. All right, this is what I would say. He's like, number one, don't give a shit about what other people think. That's the first thing out of this man's mouth. And you're like, dang it, if I hear that one more time, I'm just going to quit giving a shit about what other people think. One, don't give a shit about what other people think. He said, two, figure out what it is you want to do and get really good at it. And three, do so much volume that it would make absolutely no sense for you to not be successful. That's it. The guy gave him 60 seconds to say, he could have just went, he could have just chucked out as many pieces of, knowledge that he could possibly spit out. The amount of time that he spoke in that 60 seconds was probably 15 seconds. And he said 3 things. That's all he said. Don't give a shit about what other people think. And I was like, God, that is not one of the truest things. I tell people that all the time. It's easy to say. It's harder to really get through someone's skull. 2, figure out what it is you want to do and just get really good at it. If you want to teach yoga, get really freaking good at yoga. If you want to teach yoga, then teach some yoga and listen to feedback from women. If you hear 15 out of 20 women that do yoga say, I really love yoga, except I struggle with this, this, and this, then get good at helping them with those 3 things. That's getting really good. It's not just what you think is good about it. It's listening to the feedback that you're getting. I've been listening to feedback for 10 years and and most of the feedback is not the workouts that I do, it's how I talk during my workouts. So while we're warming up in the beginning, I'm giving tips and motivation, inspiration, and then I'll end a workout with a little nugget of like mindset stuff. I think that's why people stick around. You can probably get a workout just about anywhere. You can get a workout. You can work out for free. Let's be honest. But I think people really stick around in my program because the feedback I get, I'm hearing, I'm struggling, I have a hard time with consistency. They're not saying I don't know how to do a shoulder press. They're not saying I can't figure out this whole squat thing. That's not what they're saying. They're saying I'm struggling. Why am I beating myself up? Why do I do good for 2 weeks and then fall off the bandwagon? So that's the feedback I'm getting, and I make sure I deliver that. That's the getting really good at what it is that you do, and then do so much volume it would make no sense for you to not be successful. That's social media. That's not just volume for me on social media, that's volume inside my app. That's why when I'm in a mood on a Sunday and I'm thinking a lot about the week to come, and I'm doing dishes and doing laundry and running a million things through my mind, I flip my phone open and I do a mindset moment. And I upload those to my app every Sunday. And it's literally me with my hair piled on top of my head, no makeup on, in my PJs, doing laundry. You can hear the washer machine going in the background. Kids vacuuming in the other room. And I'm like, ladies, let's talk about life. So not just volume, social media wise, which I do, but also volume on my app. So that would be the advice. Not to
And keep going with
completely.
that, where it's give people some context of what you do with your community in terms of the messaging and the calls and all that stuff too.
Um, so inside the app, obviously my workouts. My workouts are full length workouts. I do have gym workouts like the click through workouts. Um, but I don't know the numbers. You guys could probably look for me. I think 95% of my users use my full length follow along workouts because they're spending time with me. And that's the messaging they send me all the time. They're like, I feel like you're my best friend. I spend time with you every day. Um, but I upload the mindset. I literally just call them mindset moments. Um, I'm very active in the community. If people post in my community, they're always getting a response from me. And then obviously in the messages. Um, I know how important that is, especially for them to not just feel like they're another number coming into my business. So, and then I still have my private Facebook group that never went away. It's kind of hard to get rid of something like that once you have it. So I'm very active in there. I upload, videos, talking in there, supporting people when they message in with a question, or even if they post a little post workout selfie, I'm cheering them on and congratulating them for showing up for themselves and stuff like that. But yeah, I try to make it feel like you didn't really just download a fitness app. I try to make it feel like you downloaded this really cool app that's got like your workout bestie in there, somebody you can talk to anytime you're struggling. And I tell people that. I say, if you're thinking about giving up, fine. It's fine. You're allowed to give up. We all have free will, but I need you to message me first. Because I guarantee you're just going through something that might last a day or two, and you just need somebody to talk to. You just need to be heard for a minute. You don't need to cancel. Just like you're going to have a fight with your spouse, you don't need to go get a divorce. Like, just hold on a minute. You're just having a moment. So people know they can message me anytime about anything. So I think that's why it's doing so well. And I have no plans on, I don't care how big this thing gets. I'm going to keep showing up as much as I possibly can. And I think my ladies know that. And I think that's why they stick around.
Well, you're a special soul. Entertaining as hell and a great soul. It's a great mix. Well, this is awesome. I mean, this is so good. Every time I'm like, ooh, just gotta let Mackenzie roll. I mean, that's what I got. Doesn't need to be anything else, but you feel good. Anything else you want to say?
Gosh, I don't know. There's so much I can say. When I get to talking about stuff, I can go on forever. I guess the last thing I would say, because we almost touched on limiting beliefs, but we didn't really tackle them. We don't have time to really tackle them because I know you and I could talk about that stuff for hours. But I would say that if you're listening to this, you're watching this, I guarantee you have some kind of limiting belief. I might be able to do this, but there's no way I can do this. Most of your limiting beliefs are just not true. They're just something you conjured up over the years. Some of it can even stem from childhood. Yes, stuff that happens in childhood sticks around for decades. But is literally your twisted perception could have literally taken this limiting belief on when you were 6. And it's somehow stuck around this long. And the only reason it sticks around is because every time you come head to head with it, you let it win. So every time something approaches you in life where you think, I bet I can't do this, so you back off, you made it a little bit stronger. Something else approaches you in life and you think, shit, I don't think I can do this. And you back off, you just strengthened it. Here's the saddest thing. The whole time it wasn't true. The whole time it wasn't true. And you think, well, hell, what do I do now? It sounds like I'm doomed. No, it's that next time you come head to head with it and you think, I bet I can't do this, you're going to think, well, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and try anyways. Let's just see. I'm going to go ahead and try anyways. Probably what's going to happen is you're going to be able to do the thing and you're going to go, oh, crap. All right, cool. I'm not going to beat myself up about the past. Next time you come up to something, okay, well, I did the one thing. All right, I'll give myself that. I did do the one thing, but I don't think I can do this thing. But I guess I'll try. And that is how it happens. Like, and it can be little stuff. I don't think I can figure out how to record a workout and like compress the file and upload it to YouTube. You know, this is where the equations are floating around in the air, right? And then you do it and you're like, oh, it's actually really easy. Okay, well, I got around that one. And then, oh my gosh, I don't know that I can have my own app. Are you kidding me? Like, that sounds like that's some fancy people stuff. Like, that's people that's really figured life out, has an app. Don't think I can, oh, but crap, I'll try to do that one too. That's how you get places. How you stay stuck for decades and decades is every time a limiting belief comes along. Yeah, well, I'm not from some cool town. Oh, but I'll try it anyways. Oh, but that's right. That's right. Social media makes it to where it literally doesn't matter where you live. You could live on the North Pole and have access to the whole world. So, darn, I don't have that excuse anymore. So, I would just say to anyone listening, when you catch yourself coming to a place where you get really excited about life or an opportunity or a business idea or something, and you get really excited about it, and you're dreaming it up in your head and the but word comes along, oh my gosh, that would be so cool if but that but is your limiting belief. Whatever comes after that, but don't know where you came up with that. You might have literally had a teacher in the 5th grade tell you, you can't sit still, something's wrong with you. Your little brain is just like turning and you sit down and shut up. You got that thing we call ADHD or whatever. That could literally be when you took on that limiting belief and you think, how silly, when you think about it that way. So when your butt comes along, then you need to pay attention to that and then just come around it anyways.
That's why we need Mackenzie in our life, is to remind us of that. But no, you're so true, and everything about your story is just a limiting belief buster, to your point. And it's so awesome that you share that, because you do have every excuse to be like, hey, I'm not supposed to be that person who's doing this well and has this following, has this impact, and like, it's so awesome to watch you rip through those. And it's probably, it's for anyone listening to that, it's definitely a skill you developed where you may not if you keep going on that limiting belief, you're not going to overcome it the first time, but you sound like you're very aware of them coming into your life. And you're just like, hey, I'm going to sit with that one and go against that one, and nine times out of 10 I knock it over. Yeah, you seem like I mean, that's where, and Mackenzie has a mindset thing too, which is awesome. I think that applies to everyone, whether it's a consumer or a person in business. But yeah, awesome across the board. This is so good. This is really great.
Well, thanks. Thanks for having me on here.
Yeah. We'll certainly we'll do more of these, and this is definitely the next additional career path for you. There's no question about it.
Yeah.
This is kind of off topic, but you have to keep going, pushing women, because your mindset is special, like what you've created and where you've come, and it is really special, and you articulate it very well. So I'm excited to see where Mackenzie Wells keeps going.
Me too. Very much so.
Well, thank you so much. I will talk to you soon. More to come from Mackenzie. Thank you, guys.
All right. See ya.